Right, busy day in the Parliament. Joining me now, Sky's Political Editor Andrew Clennell. We'll start with the perennial personality at the moment, Barnaby Joyce. He told the Nine newspapers, Andrew, this morning that he will not return to the Nationals party room this year, but nor will he join One Nation. He's putting off the decision, he says, until the new year. Now, I'm with him on net zero, but I mean, this is getting farcical. What happens on Friday, or let's say next week, if the coalition drops net zero? Is Barnaby suddenly back on the coalition team, or what, we wait until next year to find out?
I can't get an answer out of him. I tried at a doorstop, but I want to just interrupt with some breaking news, Peter, if I may. Our colleague Cameron Redden has just doorstopped Kevin Rudd in the building. We are working on getting you that grab, and I've just had that from your producer in my ear now. But Cameron Redden found out Kevin Rudd was speaking at an event here, camped outside with the cameraman Jeff Crane, and they've got a few words out of him. And it'll be the first public comments and sort of question and answer with a reporter since that now famous incident in the White House when I asked about Donald Trump's concerns of irritants in the relationship, and he upbraided Kevin Rudd. And, of course, Donald Trump at the helicopter pad a couple of days later then said, look, he might have forgiven, but he doesn't forget. So excited to show that to you in a few minutes when we have that cut. But just repeating for your viewers, Kevin Rudd has spoken to our reporter Cam Redden a short time ago here in Parliament House. Now, in terms of Barnaby, I'm with you. I think he should just make a decision, shouldn't he? I mean, it's not like a Kevin Hogan. He says it's like Kevin Hogan was an independent national, so-called independent national, after, you know, another leadership spill saw Scott Morrison in the job. He said he was sick of changing PMs. But he never flirted with going to another party, and Barnaby Joyce clearly has. So he needs to make a decision. Now, there is a school of thought in the Little Proud camp, by the way, that perhaps Barnaby wants to be martyred. And they're not going to do that. They're just going to sit here and say, look, he's welcome to join the party room again. So if that's Barnaby Joyce's hope, and he does seem to be doing a fair bit of attention seeking, my information is that's not going to be rewarded. So he's going to be in no man's land for a little while, sitting with the Nationals, not showing up to their party room.
I think Little Proud's got the right tactic there, because the thing I have to say to you, you know, you're long out of the media. The thing the politicians most fear is being irrelevant, you know, not being talked about. And if Barnaby's not talked about, I'll start that now on my show until we get a decision from him. I'm not going to talk about him either. But if he's not talked about, that's what will get under his skin more than anything else. Just on the Kevin Rudd, do we know from Cam Redden why he was in Australia? Like, what is the event he is speaking at? Because this is curious to me, that he's not usually due for his midterm consultations until probably the end of the beginning of next year or midway into next year. So the idea that he is home, whether he's coming back to do briefings maybe for the department, or whether he's coming back to work out his exit from the job, that will be interesting. We know why he's in Canberra.
Oh, you can only speculate on that. All Anthony Albanese said in Washington is he's been appointed for a 4-year term. He didn't necessarily say, by the way, he'd served the 4-year term. But
no,
perhaps that's part of it. But that's a bit... Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say I've got good intel out of very senior ranks, not the Chief of Staff, but pretty bloody well close to the Chief of Staff, that the animus in the administration towards Kevin Rudd is not going to abate. I think the President decided not to pick a fight with the Prime Minister. He's in a make love, not war sort of mode as you see him get around Southeast Asia. But very much in relation to Mr Rudd, he is persona non grata when it comes to that West Wing.
Well, I think that was obvious from my exchange with the President, Peter, because I said I gave him an opportunity to complain about Palestine, climate change, or Kevin Rudd, or the ambassador's comments, and he went straight for the jugular for the ambassador. Well, we have it now. Let's have a listen, Peter.
How are you all?
Good, thank you. Donald
Hello,
Trump
how are you, mate?
said...
Haven't seen you for a while.
It's been a while.
It's good to be back in Canberra. I'm here with the Trade Minister. We're speaking to a gathering of Australian business who want to do a lot of business investment and trade with the United States, and that's what we're here to do.
Is it good to have patched things up with President Trump?
forget people who, quote, say
Well, you know
bad
something?
about him?
You know what I think is that the Prime Minister had an excellent meeting with the President of the United States, and we're here to do a job.
Is it good to have patched things up with him, Mr. Rudd?
Mr. Rudd, what do you think of those comments from Donald Trump that he doesn't forget people who, quote, say
Well,
bad
you know
about
what
him?
I would say is that I'm from America and I'm here to help, and my name's Kevin.
I'm pro-America and I'm here to help. So there you go. Just saying, you know something? Oh, gosh, we had to hear another Kevin Rudd, you know something. How many times did we hear that when he was Prime Minister, Peter? You know something? It was a good meeting, so sucked in. I mean, I think that's what he's basically saying, isn't he? But it was it was some moment. It was amazing to be there. And look, like you say, it's obvious they got a problem with his previous comments. And you can say, as the government does, look, Rubio said it, J.D. Vance criticised him. They're politicians. Kevin Rudd's an ambassador and a public servant. And I think this speaks to the dangers of having a former PM as an ambassador, really. I mean, I know we've had opposition leaders before, Beazley and Peacock and, you know, Hockey, a former treasurer, but a former PM's somewhat different, especially when they've made public comments in the way that they have, although he was working with a think tank at the time. And it's just hard to get over. And Donald Trump at the helicopter pad the other day, he said, look, I'm going to appoint an ambassador to Australia. We know this has taken some time since Caroline Kennedy, but I want to consult the PM first. And don't you think there's a bit of a message in that? Now, I'm not in the school who believe that Donald Trump did not know the bloke sitting across the table from him and that he'd made comments before. I do not believe that. I was there. I was there. I was in the room. He knew the guy and he played it pretty cleverly. That's the way that, you know, and I wasn't looking for that, by the way. You heard me put a number of things. I wanted the answer many Australians wanted. Why has this meeting taken so long? And are there any irritants in the relationship? Now, I nominated
Andrew,
a couple.
I was told...
and he went for that one.
I was told in the pre-meeting briefing that the Rudd comments were relitigated with the President. They were brought to the President's attention again. He was going to deal with the Rudd issue in the private part of the meeting, but you gave him a gift with that question and he decided to run with it and rebuke him publicly. And when he made those comments at the end of the meeting where he said, basically, we've moved on, all is forgiven, that was not directed at Rudd. That was directed at Albanese. He has decided to move on from what Albanese might have said in the past, leader to leader, but he certainly has not moved on from Kevin Rudd. And I would invite Kevin Rudd to prove me wrong and to seek a meeting with the White House in the West Wing. Go and see some of the administration there and you'll be very quickly told you're not getting a meeting, mate. So I think there'll be a movement out of Kevin Rudd from that job.
Albanese in the Oval Office discussions, as I understand it, then argued Rudd's case and said it's a sign of the importance we put on the relationship that I put a former Prime Minister into this role. So I do think there is... Albanese wants to stick with him, at least for a time. He's not going to allow that meeting to say Trump's told us who should be our ambassador. If there is an exit before 2027, it would be some months. Yeah, and that would, mid next year, it's been reported the UN ambassador's job for Australia, which is in New York, which is kind of a cool place to live, is available. It comes up mid next year. What's the bet? Kevin Rudd goes there and then it doesn't look as embarrassing as it might. But, I mean, again, all this is speculation. But, I just wouldn't be surprised if it happened, frankly. And good work by Cameron Redden. Can I just say that just then?
Well done, Cameron Redden. But, of course, if Rudd's in the UN in New York, he can also start to do the preparatory lobbying to get the job he has always coveted, and that's to be the General Secretary of the UN. So that's the big push, because Oceania has not had a candidate for some time. I'll leave there, Andrew. Thank you.